Detty December just ended, but did your business actually win, or did you just survive the rush? Hi, I'm Maywood Martindale, and the business of Africa is my thing. This is a guide for the thinkers, builders, and dreamers shaping Africa's tomorrow, drawn from research, context, and lived experience. For the last 7 years, I've worked with founders, executives, and leadership teams across Africa and in the diaspora, including CEOs, COOs, MDs, and early stage founders across education, tech, PR, strategy, management consultancy, the creative industries, African fashion, sports, and private client relations. I've lived and worked across 5 countries in West Africa, the UK, and now North Africa. And that matters because it's giving me a wide comparative view of how businesses operate in very different markets, consumer behaviors, and economic systems. I've seen too many businesses built and owned by Africans, especially during peak seasons, operate without having built the systems, data, and awareness and infrastructure that would actually help their hard work translate into long-term success. And nowhere is that more visible than in December. Right now, many entrepreneurs, big and small, across the African continent are using January to rest and prepare for the year ahead. And that's good. But I want to ask you a real question. Did you have a December strategy, or did December just happen to you? The truth is, many businesses didn't just leave money on the table. They left it on the floor, enough to fill a whole house, not because the opportunity wasn't there, but because they were unprepared, underprepared, or simply didn't know exactly what to focus on. Why does December matter to so many businesses? Because economically, in many markets across the world, December is when businesses make the most money they will see all year. In South Africa alone, over 3.4 million travelers were recorded in December 2024, most for holiday purposes. In the same year, Ghana welcomed around 1.3 million international visitors, generating approximately 5 billion in tourism revenue. Across Africa, international tourist arrivals continue to rise, with tens of millions of visitors annually, showing that travel and tourism demand is growing. Local retail research and payment industry briefs also show a holiday shopping surge in markets like Nigeria, both online and offline, with increased spending categories like fashion and accessories. Not to mention that people are in a giving mood. So you get a gift, you get a gift, you get a gift, everybody gets a gift. These aren't small numbers. They represent people with spending power, intent, and time. Travel increases, retail engagement increases, diaspora return increases, particularly in markets like Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and Sierra Leone. And to that, festivals, weddings, events, and tourism experiences back to back. People come ready to spend. But here's a real question. How much of that spending did you actually capture in December 2025? We often talk about December as if it's an isolated month of chaos and hype, but December is part of a larger seasonal cycle. The uncomfortable truth is, even when businesses experience a busy December, many don't actually understand who showed up, why they purchased, how they found them, or how to bring them back. The lack of data capture and interpretation is one of the biggest reasons businesses underperform regardless of market conditions. Let me ask you honestly, whether you sell a product or a service, who bought from you? What did they buy? How much did they spend on average? How many products or services did each customer purchase? If you ran pop-ups, events, or experiences, what was your foot traffic versus actual buyers? Did you track engagement? Did you capture feedback about the experience? Google reviews, Trustpilot? Do you have their contact details, emails, phone numbers, a way to reach them again? Or will you now spend new money trying to attract new people when the ones who already trusted you are gone? And I know some of you have these details, so I ask you, what have you done with it? How have you used it to better inform the decisions you make about your business, company, or organization? A lot of businesses, companies, and organizations believe they have strategy, but ultimately, they're reacting to the influx of people without proper consideration to give them a wider picture of exactly where their business is currently at, where they want to go, and how this increased flow of people can be used to get them there. Most African businesses still operate as if December is a miracle month, not a strategic window. They focus on short-term traffic, pricing spikes, and frantic promotions, which leads to burnout and destabilizes their local market. If all December does is collapse your operations, staffing, pricing, supply chain, or cash flow before January, that is actually not a success. That is exhaustion of resources disguised as achievement. Businesses miss the fact that December does not start in December. There is a whole back-to-back season that actually starts from October into November, and most businesses are not capitalizing on it. That's when positioning is built, partnerships are formed, and money that will be spent is decided. Let me be clear, this is not just about making money in December. It's about building infrastructure and systems that allow your businesses to survive and thrive without leaving the local economy at a detriment. There are 12 months in the year. December should not carry your entire business on its back. December should accelerate what you're already building. It is an outcome of what you prepare before it arrives. Customer understanding, positioning, systems, capacity, data capture, follow-up. This is where the intelligence gap appears. Data alone does not help if you don't know how to interpret and then use it. Let me give you an example. You run a fashion brand in Lagos or Accra or Johannesburg. You've grown popular on social media. A dress you make in-house starts gaining attention. You see the tags, the mentions, the demand, but you don't study the patterns. You decide to throw a 3-day pop-up. You sell in 1 day. You have to pause for restock. So customers who wanted to spend now have to either wait or they take their money somewhere else. There is also potential of quality to slip due to the lack of quality assurance checks, and sizing may become inconsistent because you now have to rush your team to deliver stock they did not prepare or plan to make. You planned, but you didn't prepare intelligently. Another example, you run an education or a toy store or a supermarket. December demand is predictable, yet you close early or reduce hours because you didn't hire or train enough seasonal staff. Why do you think companies like Selfridges or Harrods hire seasonal teams and extend hours? Because they plan for demand instead of reacting to it. This is how businesses move into real job creation and ecosystem building. Strategy means you win in December without collapsing in January. This is where many businesses and even tourism authorities are not thinking deeply enough. Why are we not studying airline data reports, tourism impact reports, or payment processing insights that already exist? You see how before you land, when they give the traveler information cards, I've always wondered what they do with it when they collect it back and why it's not digitized to build a better picture that goes beyond basic customer dynamics, but instead helps us understand lifestyle choices. Are they entrepreneurs, 9-to-5ers, side hustlers? This information tells us where visitors are coming from, what cities and countries, what class they're flying, business, first class, economy, how often they travel, why they're traveling, family, leisure, investment, which routes spike during peak season. We can no longer rely only on just demographics. We need value graphics, lifestyle, preferences, behavior, habits. It's also not about collecting data for data's sake. It's about interpreting what the data is telling you and utilizing this information to build a better business. This is how real strategy is built. What you already have, who you're already serving, and how you can make things more convenient for them. That is what makes you money. Established businesses understand this, from Netflix to McDonald's to Dangote Cement. Data interpretation informs everything from campaigns to customer acquisition and even supply chains. The same must apply to African businesses. Study your customers. Look for patterns. You can be in the same business as someone, but your customer is not the same as another business. Focus on yours, and the information you have about them will tell you exactly what you need to know. Who is buying from you? Are they from the diaspora, tourists, locals, upgrading spend? When are peak hours, online and in store? What products move fastest? Which price points meet the least resistance? Patterns tell you what to prepare and plan for, what to repeat and is working, what to stop doing and it's not working, even if you believe it's a good idea. It actually may not apply to your business and your customers. When you build systems, not seasonal hype, December becomes a multiplier and not a miracle. The goal is not a good December. The goal is a strong business that generates profit all year round. This is why I created the Detty December strategy, a business planning philosophy for African markets using October to December as the highest leverage window of the year. December is the case study. The product is preparation, positioning, and ethical demand capture translated into systems that last. This is for founders, SMEs, and institutions who want clarity, understanding, context, lived experience instead of chaos. So if you want to go deeper, I'm hosting a free intelligence briefing on Thursday, 15th of January at 8 p.m. All I'm asking for is 1 hour of your time. This December 2026, if you take the right action, you will make the money you deserve. The link is in the description. This is the business of Africa, and I'm Maywood Martindale.